Meet the moray eel, the underwater noodle of your nightmares. Picture this. You're snorkeling in the tropical paradise of the Indo-Pacific. The sunbeams pierce through crystal clear waters, illuminating a rainbow of coral. Everything's perfect. Then, bam! You lock eyes with what looks like Satan's sock puppet poking out of a rocky crevice. With a body like a muscular snake in a wetsuit and a face that screams, "I'm judging you and I might bite," the moray eel has mastered the art of looking both ancient and mildly annoyed. Its eyes are ghostly and unblinking, like they were borrowed from a haunted doll. Its mouth? Permanently stuck in a menacing half-smile, revealing curved needle-like teeth that would make a vampire fish blush. You don't know whether to scream, swim, or ask it for directions to Atlantis. But don't be fooled by its lazy lounging pose. This thing is a living jack-in-the-box with attitude. Morays don't chase prey across the reef. Oh no. They chill in rocky holes, poking just their heads out, like a submarine periscope with anger issues. For hours they wait, patient, still, spooky, until some poor, unsuspecting fish strays too close. Then, snap! The moray lunges out in a lightning-fast strike, jaws gaping like a medieval bear trap with gills. These creatures are the ocean's equivalent of a haunted house jump scare. Silent, sudden, and always personal. Even their movement is unsettling. Unlike fish with fins, morays slither with serpentine elegance, undulating their long, boneless bodies through coral like a horror movie villain that refuses to blink. If water had a boogeyman, this would be it. And the best part, they don't have to swim fast to be terrifying. They just exist. That's right. The moray eel doesn't need to chase anything to send shivers down your wetsuit. It just needs to smile. So next time you're admiring the coral reef, just remember, behind every innocent-looking rock, there might be a grumpy underwater goblin waiting to ruin your day. Welcome to the reef's darkest secret. Welcome to the nightmare in the coral. Now, just when you thought the moray eel couldn't possibly get any creepier, hold on to your snorkel, because nature looked at this underwater goblin and said, "Needs more nightmare fuel." So it gave it a second jaw. Yes, a secret inner mouth that lunges forward like it's auditioning for Alien 6, Reef Revenge. This hidden terror is called the pharyngeal jaw, and it's exactly as disturbing as it sounds. Tucked deep in the eel's throat like a sinister puppet with its own evil agenda, this inner jaw isn't just there for show. When the moray strikes and grabs a slippery fish with its main jaws, the pharyngeal jaw suddenly shoots forward, clamps the prey, and drags it, screaming if it could, straight down into the digestive abyss. No chewing, no second chances, just pure horror movie mechanics. Let's put this into perspective. Imagine you're eating pizza. You take a bite, and then your throat mouth launches forward, grabs the slice, and pulls it down like a mini U inside your esophagus. That's what moray eels do, every time they eat. Why? Because unlike most fish, morays can't generate suction to pull prey in. Their long, narrow heads aren't built for it. So evolution, in a moment of pure madness, gifted them with a throat gremlin that gets the job done. And don't think it's just some limp jelly jaw either. It's fully armed with teeth, sharp, backward-facing teeth that make sure once something goes in, it's never coming out. It's like a conveyor belt of doom. One bite, one yank, one swallowed fish that will never tell the tale. Scientists were stunned when they first discovered this feature. One researcher reportedly said, "It's like a second eel living inside the first one." Lovely. A Russian nesting eel. And here's the kicker. It's the only known animal with this kind of forward-launching inner jaw. Not even sharks have this. Not even crocodiles. Just the moray, because of course. So the next time you're admiring a moray's gaping smile from the safety of your documentary screen, remember, that grin, it's not just one mouth, it's two. One to catch you, one to finish the job. Let's talk slime, not the cartoon kind, not the Halloween party kind. We're talking about moray eel slime, the real, raw, mucousy madness that coats their entire body like a slippery horror movie tuxedo. Unlike most fish that show up to the ocean party in shiny protective scales, the moray eel said, "Nah, I'm good," and opted for something way weirder, a thick layer of goo. This isn't just any mucus. Oh no. This is biological brilliance, a custom-made ooze that turns the moray into a slippery, slithering fortress of funk. First of all, that slime is antibacterial. It protects them from infections, fungus and parasites that would love to nibble on an eel's exposed skin. Think of it as organic armor with a built-in hand sanitizer effect. And if that's not enough, some moray eels even tweak the formula depending on their environment. That's right, they can modify their mucus like it's a personal skincare line. Coral Reef SPF 500, anyone? But wait, it gets better. That goo also makes them impossible to grab. Predators like sharks or larger fish might think, ooh, a moray eel snack. But once they clamp down, whoops, that eel slides right out like a greased spaghetti noodle in a slip and slide contest. Try catching one barehanded. Good luck. It's like wrestling a wet bar of soap with teeth. And then there's the secret bonus, that mucus can coat the eel's hiding hole, lining the rocky crevice like a slimy welcome mat. Why? Because it helps them slip in and out faster, and it makes the tunnel even less inviting to potential intruders. You ever try sneaking into a haunted house that's also coated in Vaseline? Exactly. Even their color comes into play. Some morays secrete yellow-tinted slime that gives them a permanent toxic glow, like a living caution sign. Others develop mucus that smells bad, just in case a predator didn't get the visual warning. In the world of reef fashion, this eel is walking the runway in slime couture. So yes, it's gross. It's gooey. It's the kind of thing you wouldn't want to find in your shoe. But in the chaotic jungle of the ocean, that slime is pure genius. It keeps the moray eel clean, safe, and disgustingly fabulous. In the coral catacombs, where the light barely dances and shadows twist like ghosts, the moray eel waits. But unlike most sea creatures that warn, threaten, or run, the moray skips the formalities. It doesn't ask questions. It doesn't give second chances. It just bites, hard, and it doesn't let go. This is the eel's philosophy. If it moves, test it with your teeth. If it doesn't move, test it anyway. Moray eels are infamous for their bite-first approach to life. Divers, fishermen, even innocent underwater GoPro users have found themselves on the wrong end of this fang-faced sea sock. One moment you're admiring a coral reef, the next, chomp, you're suddenly part of the reef's horror story. And no, it's not personal. It's just moray business. See, morays don't have the best vision. They're basically the Mr. Magoo of the reef, nearsighted, nervous, and loaded with teeth. So when something waves near their face, be it a fish, a hand, or a camera, they might just assume it's dinner. And when they clamp those jaws shut, oh baby, that's a one-way ticket to Regretville. Their teeth are long, curved, and needle-sharp, designed not to kill instantly, but to impale and hold. And once they bite, they don't let go. It's not out of spite. It's mechanical. Their jaws are so strong and their teeth so deeply embedded that even the eel struggles to open back up. Some bites are so vicious they've snapped bones, shredded wetsuits, and sent seasoned divers yelping back to the surface like startled sea puppies. And let's not even talk about the infection risk. Remember that wonderful mucus we talked about? Yeah, their mouths are a bacteria buffet. A moray bite isn't just painful, it's potentially toxic. You don't just get chomped, you get cursed. Of course, it's not all malicious. Sometimes it's curiosity. Morays are weirdly tactile, and occasionally they nibble just to see what you're about. It's like getting a handshake from a bear trap. Other times, they're just trying to defend their little crevice cave from anything that gets too close. To them, that hand near their hole, it's a glowing, wiggling threat. So next time you're diving and see that signature grin peeking out from a coral crack, keep your distance, admire from afar. Because in the world of moray eels, there's no warning growl, no wagging tail, no "Are you friend or foe?" There's just one rule. Bite first, ask never. Cue the ocean's most unexpected buddy cop duo, the moray eel and the reef fish, or sometimes even a shark. One's a slithery sea serpent with anger issues. The other's a sleek, calculated apex predator. Together they team up in what scientists call cooperative hunting, but what we like to call shark and slime, underwater justice. Here's how it goes. A reef fish, often a grouper, spots a juicy snack hiding in a coral maze. But grouper can't fit into those tight little holes. Who do they call? That's right, the moray eel, the slippery locksmith of the sea. The grouper will actually signal to the eel, sometimes by head shaking, sometimes by full body wiggling like it's doing an underwater dance-off. The moray gets the message, slithers into the crevice, and flushes the prey out. Bam! The grouper gets dinner, and the eel gets credit as the muscle of the operation. Sometimes even sharks get in on the action. Giant morays have been spotted swimming side by side with reef sharks, like it's an aquatic heist movie. They zigzag across the reef, one above, one below, like a pincer of doom. The prey? Nowhere to run. Beautiful, right? Nature working in harmony. Teamwork. Trust. Friendship. Yeah, no. That's not how this story ends. Because just when you think the moray is playing fair, plot twist. Instead of scaring out the prey for its partner, the moray says, "Why share?" and gulps it down itself. Or worse, it eats the grouper's cousin, right there in the middle of the job. Betrayal level, oceanic. Scientists watching this behavior were stunned. One minute the eel's helping, the next it's going full backstabber mode, chomping down on its own teammate's food, or worse, its teammate. Imagine planning a heist with someone who suddenly robs you in the getaway car. That's moray partnership in a nutshell. Yet despite the occasional treachery, reef fish still work with morays. Why? Because in the dangerous game of eat or be eaten, a slippery ally is better than no ally at all. Just don't turn your back. So, is the moray eel a brilliant team player? Or a cold-blooded con artist with a slippery tongue and a double-cross habit? Maybe both. Maybe that's the charm. In the underwater drama of life, the moray eel is that unpredictable wildcard that keeps everyone nervous. In the chaotic carnival of reef life, where everything is either hunting, hiding, or being hunted while hiding, the moray eel has chosen a profession that suits its temperament perfectly: ambush artist. But not just any ambusher. This is the ninja of the reef, the phantom of the coral opera, the jack-in-the-box of doom. While other predators swim around flashing fins and showing off speed, the moray eel does the exact opposite. It tucks its nightmarish body deep into a rocky crevice, coils up like a sentient rope, and waits. Patient, motionless, unsettlingly still. Just a pair of sinister eyes and that trademark rictus grin peeking out from the shadows like it knows something you don't. Spoiler, it knows your lunch. Hours may pass, sometimes longer. The eel doesn't care. It's perfected the art of maximum menace with minimum movement. Then, just when a fish strays a little too close, lured in by the false promise of a safe passage, bam! The moray shoots out like a haunted spring-loaded toy, jaws wide, teeth gleaming, and snatches its victim with surgical precision. It doesn't chase. It doesn't warn. It just erupts. But here's where things get weirder. Some species of moray eel have taken stealth to a whole new level. They don't just wait in water. They crawl out of it. Yes, you read that right. Certain morays, like the snowflake moray, have been observed slithering across wet rocks like deranged underwater burglars, using their muscular bodies to shimmy between tide pools, sneaking up on crabs and other tasty treats that thought they were safe on dryish land. They're one of the very few fish that can actually hunt on land, briefly leaving their aquatic kingdom for a quick snack, and then slithering back into the blue like a slippery ghost. Imagine going for a walk on the beach and suddenly realizing a fish is chasing you. Not cool, ocean. Not cool. But that's the brilliance of the moray eel. It doesn't need to be fast or flashy. It just needs to be invisible until it's too late. Its body is perfectly designed for tight spaces. Its skin doesn't get scratched by jagged coral, and its slime helps it slide through tunnels like an eel-shaped shadow. So while you're admiring the reef and snapping pics of the colorful fish, remember, there's probably a moray eel nearby, watching you through the cracks, smiling, coiled, ready to spring like nature's worst surprise party. If you thought there was just one kind of moray eel slithering around the ocean, looking like a sock puppet with anger issues, oh, you sweet summer diver. Welcome to the eel buffet, where over 200 different species are on the menu, and each one is weirder, freakier, and more fabulous than the last. Let's start with the basics. Moray eels come in every flavor of terrifying. Some are dull and brown, blending into the reef like shadows with teeth. Others? They go full glam. Ever seen a ribbon eel? In a ribbon. It looks like it should be floating down a catwalk, not a coral crevice. electric blue body, bright yellow mouth, and the kind of dramatic flair that screams, "I bite, but make it fashion." Then there's the dragon moray eel, found in the deep Pacific, truly nature's fever dream. It has horns, literal horns, orange and white psychedelic patterns, jagged teeth, and eyes that look like they've seen some things. If Salvador Dali had designed a sea serpent, it'd be this guy. It's not just a predator, it's a walking hallucination. But let's not forget the heavyweight champ, the giant moray eel. This beast can grow over 10 feet long and weigh up to 70 pounds. That's right, bigger than most humans and definitely more muscular. It's like running into a gym bro who lives in a cave and bites anything that moves. With jaws strong enough to snap bones and the temperament of a bouncer on a bad day, the giant moray is one eel you don't want to surprise. And their coloration? It's a full underwater art gallery. From neon yellows to midnight blacks, greens, leopard spots, stripes, even glowing golds, morays are the ocean's weirdest paint palette. Some look like underwater lava snakes, while others have patterns so hypnotic you'd almost forget they're designed to camouflage and kill. But all that diversity isn't just for show. Each species has carved out its own niche in the reef economy. Some hunt at night, some share dens with shrimp, some eat only crustaceans. Others, like the fimbriated moray, are picky eaters with a taste for fish fillet tartare. It's a tangled family tree of jaws, slime, and extremely bad attitudes. So the next time you see one of these creatures lurking in a coral crevice, just remember, it could be any one of 200+ eel identities. You might be looking at a shy little snowflake moray, or the ocean's version of a fire-breathing dragon with teeth. There's no label, no warning sign, just teeth, grin, and a surprise. When it comes to dining, moray eels aren't picky eaters. They're not food snobs swirling wine and nibbling scallops. They're more like hangry vacuum cleaners with teeth. If it moves, smells edible, or vaguely resembles a crunchy seafood snack, it's going down the hatch. Welcome to the moray eel buffet, where everything's on the menu, including you. Let's start with their usual suspects. Small fish, crustaceans, squishy cephalopods like octopuses and squid. If it lives in the reef and fits in their mouth, it's at risk. Morays strike with lightning speed, clamp down with fantastic jaws, and then, just to be extra dramatic, use their second inner jaw to finish the job. It's dinner and a horror show all rolled into one. But here's the catch. Morays don't always look before they lunge. Their eyesight is, let's be honest, terrible. They rely mostly on smell and vibration to hunt. So when a curious diver wiggles their fingers near a crevice, perhaps innocently pointing out something cool, moray doesn't see human. It sees shrimp cocktail. And if your hand happens to be near its face during feeding time, oh boy, that's a moray oopsie moment. There have been multiple cases of divers getting bitten, not out of aggression, but simply because the eel thought it was dinner. To the moray, your 5 wiggly fingers look suspiciously like 5 delicious prawns on a silver platter. But even beyond accidents, these eels are true opportunists. Some have been observed following larger predators like sharks or groupers, snatching up leftovers like the reef's grimiest little food thief. Others will boldly raid tide pools or scavenge whatever's left behind. You could say they're the dumpster divers of the deep. Resourceful, ruthless, and always ready to snack. And remember that bite we talked about? Yeah, it's not a gentle nibble. It's a full-on death grip backed by a second set of jaws. Once they've decided your food, reversing that decision gets complicated. Some victims have lost fingers. Others have gained great bar stories. So if you're planning on feeding a moray eel during your next tropical vacation, don't. Just don't. They don't need help finding food, and your hand might be mistaken for a seafood sampler. In the grand underwater dining room, morays are the guests who eat everything, chew nothing, and leave nothing behind. Dinner is served, and if you're not careful, you're the appetizer. You've survived the bite. You've dodged the slime. You've resisted the temptation to wiggle your fingers near its mouth. Bravo. But just when you think the moray eel can't hurt you anymore, bam! Plot twist. You sit down to eat one, and it kills you from the inside. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the moray eel's final act. Deadly dinner guest. You see, some species of moray eel come with a nasty little secret marinated deep in their flesh, a potent toxin called ciguatoxin. It doesn't smell. It doesn't taste funny. It doesn't cook out with heat. It just sits there quietly, waiting, like the eel's final revenge from beyond the reef. Eat one of these toxic eels, and you might find yourself battling ciguatera poisoning, an experience best described as a tropical vacation in hell. The symptoms? Oh, nothing too dramatic, just vomiting, diarrhea, hallucinations, numbness, burning skin, and the unforgettable joy of feeling like your teeth are falling out while everything hot tastes cold, and everything cold feels like lava. Some unlucky souls even experience reversal of temperature sensation, where ice feels like fire. Thanks, moray. Very cool. What makes this even more disturbing is that morays don't make the toxin themselves. They absorb it through their diet, eating reef fish that carry the ciguatoxin from toxic algae in the food chain. As the moray climbs the reef's food ladder, it becomes a walking, writhing sponge of chemical chaos. And once it's in their flesh, game over. There's no cure. No antidote. No just walk it off. Only time, regret, and a very strong sense of betrayal from your seafood platter. And before you start feeling brave, don't assume this is some rare back-alley delicacy. In certain parts of the world, especially across the Indo-Pacific, moray eels are still eaten. Sometimes out of tradition, sometimes by accident. There are documented cases of entire village feasts turning into mass hospital runs after a single toxic eel was served. One such event in Micronesia ended with over 50 people sick and a few never recovering. Moray eels, the only dinner guests that send you home in a box. In fact, some regions have straight up banned eating moray eels. Smart move, because even in death, these slippery assassins keep a grudge. So remember, while other animals might kill to eat, the moray eel, it's one of the few that might kill because you ate it. In the glittering chaos of the coral reef, where everyone's eating, hiding, mating, or running for their lives, there's one creature that doesn't need to boast, chase, or roar to rule. No flashy fins, no dorsal drama. Just a long, slimy body, an eerie smile, and a reputation that does all the talking. Enter the moray eel, the ocean's most misunderstood monarch. While sharks grab headlines and barracudas play the villain, the moray reigns from the shadows, silent, slippery, and shockingly effective. This isn't your average predator. This is a stealth assassin with the patience of a monk and the bite force of a medieval torture device. You see, when a moray takes up residence in a reef, things get balanced. Fish populations don't explode out of control. Octopuses know to tiptoe. Crustaceans keep their claws to themselves. The moray doesn't just hunt, it manages. Like a creepy underwater landlord with an iron jaw and a zero-tolerance policy for nonsense. And unlike flashier predators who chase prey through open water like aquatic sprinters, morays play the long game. They wait, they plan, they strike with ghostly precision. That's apex behavior, baby. And let's talk predators, or lack thereof. When fully grown, a giant moray has no real enemies. Not sharks, not dolphins, not even humans with a spear and questionable judgment. They're too strong, too slippery, too full of regret-inducing bacteria. Sure, a baby moray might be on the menu, but a full-grown adult. That's reef royalty and everyone knows it. Even sharks would rather eat something that doesn't come with side effects. But perhaps the most underrated thing about morays is that they don't need to be flashy to dominate. They don't swarm like piranhas. They don't charge like great whites. They simply exist, curled inside their lairs like reef dragons, watching, waiting, ruling. Scientists once believed morays were just freaky loners with a temper. Now we know they're keystone species, essential players in reef health. Take them out, and ecosystems start to wobble. Put them in, and balance is restored. They're the reef's natural population control, a slimy equalizer in the underwater arms race. So yes, they're creepy. Yes, they're slimy. Yes, they might accidentally eat your finger. But beneath the horror movie exterior lies a true apex predator, one that doesn't need fame or fury to sit at the top of the food chain. In the end, the moray eel isn't just the nightmare in the coral. It's the quiet king of the reef, unblinking, unchallenged, and unbelievably underrated. Long live the slime lord.